crystal clear. Like I can hear you. Like you ready to go? You good for this?
Yeah, let me see if I can turn my screen and put it down. If not, then I'll just leave it straight up. There we go. That's cool with me.
Absolutely. Be as comfortable as possible. This is all good. I'm just glad that we could do this. This is crazy.
Yeah, for
Everybody,
sure.
sorry if you started joining in and there was a kick out. We'll have to send that link out again. But whether you join us or not live, you'll definitely be watching this after the fact because we have here in purple and gold, wearing the purple and gold from Texas. This is the Ryan and Ryan show. Okay, we got the father of LSU Tigers freshman DB Ryan Yates. You saw him making a big play on a fourth down against Ole Miss this weekend. We're going to be talking about that a little bit later. But welcome, Ryan, the elder, Ryan Sr. Uh, you know, we've been talking for quite some time, sir. It's been great to finally get you on here. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How about yourself?
Doing fantastic, despite what we saw this last weekend, which you were there to witness in the flesh. Made the drive there to Mississippi, Oxford, to see that wild game. But really, I wanted to thank you. We'll get into the Ole Miss game, of course, but
Yeah, for sure.
I want to thank you, your son, and your family for how good you guys have been to me. And I feel that it's an injustice if the LSU fan base doesn't get to know you a little bit as well as I know you because you guys are fantastic. And I feel like to get that picture, we got to go back to the beginning because there's a lot of people who maybe don't follow recruiting and maybe didn't see all, who Ryan is about, what he's about, and maybe just barely get to know him the last few weeks, seeing him out there on the field. Sir, what kind of kid was Ryan growing up?
Uh, I mean, he's probably a kill me, but he's uh, it's hard not to say it. He's whatever. He'll deal with it. Um, we talked in our text message. I mean, his nickname is Doofy. He's just a dumb, goofy, uh, Mr. Personality and hates to display it, but he has a wonderful personality, and that's just who he is as a kid. He's he's always been the person who's gonna, be the life of the party. He's gonna break the ice. You know, uh, every kid makes dumb bonehead mistakes, but he's pretty cool. He's a pretty cool kid. We have six kids, and I mean he's the second. So he was big brother and little brother a little bit, but he was always the big little brother. But he's just a really cool kid, pretty laid back, but always wild. I mean, just goofy.
And that's what I love about him. I mean, that's what everybody loves about him. But at the same time, you see him on the football field, and he's got this like assassin's edge. And I mean, how has he changed with age and playing such a testosterone-driven sport, such a gladiator sport like football? Because I mean, you've shown me these things where he's got the kids piggybacking on him, running out there out of the tunnel for Geyer. He's got such a soft touch with people. Just talking with him when I first met him, I instantly just magnetized to his personality. But like on the other side, I've seen him absolutely try and take people's heads off on the football field.
Yeah, he's pretty even keel for the most part. Until you piss him off. It's one of those. Um, you know, I talk. I'll keep my language good.
You can
I,
say whatever you want on this show.
I talk shit to him all the time. That's just me. And I tell him all the time. You play better when you're angry. This summer, for instance, in the spring, I was telling him, I was like, man, they ain't talking about you in the media at all. You trash. And he was like,
I love it.
yeah, and he's like, man, I am doing what I'm supposed to do. Da da da. So but it is. And then he was like, why do you do that? I don't care about what the media is saying. I don't care about what Cooks thinks and what they're doing on the field. And I'm like, man, you play better when you're mad. And I mean, and it's showing. He actually stepped up. In a when a man went down, and prayers to Greg Brooks, of course. Um, but as far as his growth and seeing him, high school to now, like I said, he's pretty much the same. I mean, he's only 18. He just turned 18 in May, so he's still, the young goofy guy. He is serious about what he's trying to do, though. So let's not get it twisted there. But he that's just him, man.
I love it. I mean, just he's built for it. Everybody who's seen him out there playing, I mean, there's some guys you can tell they maybe need more time in the weight room, and maybe Ryan is still raw, but at the same time, he looks like he belongs out there when you watch him play, and he physically, athletically, it's been really cool following him this long to see it finally culminate here in this moment. But when was the moment football became the thing for Ryan back in the day?
Um, it's funny. He actually tried to quit. In the sixth grade, I want to say seventh grade, in junior high, of course. He started playing when he was 8. Always, one of the faster kids on the team. Um, and it started to click really in high school. I really want to say his 8th grade year, to be honest with you, because that's when he was playing with Peyton, Bowen, and it was just he saw how good he actually was, especially when we went the 8th grade year to Geyer, and we spoke with the coach in his freshman year. It was funny because we were in the parent meeting, and the coach pretty much told him, he was like, with Yates, you're gonna, everybody will have their own position coach, da da da. And he called it a couple of kids, of course, and he was like, Yates, you'll actually have two, you know, you'll be on offense and defense. And then at that point, it kind of clicked, to where he realized, I can actually do something with this. And so that's pretty much how that came about.
Did you guys have any family teams growing up that you were like, we're this? I'm trying. When I was asking this question, writing it down, I'm like trying to rack my memory. I'm like, I can't even remember a team. They were like, that's the family team.
Oh, I mean, to be honest with you, NFL wise, for me, it's a cowboy love and hate. It's it's difficult, I should say. Right now, I'm on a hiatus. It's y'all's team right now. It's they. So, and I'm the type where I'm not going to take credit when they do good. If they win the Super Bowl, it's still not my team right now because I didn't claim them in the beginning. So as far as college goes, I was a Vince Young fan. I was a Mac Brown fan. My wife's favorite color is burnt orange. So, yeah.
I'm wearing
Now they're
burnt
coming
orange
into the
pants.
SEC. Yeah, now they're coming into the SEC. I can't cheer for them anymore, man.
Yeah,
So
that's gonna be a weird situation. But Vince Young, oh, you just took me back there for a moment. I remember just like drooling watching him play. It was like, are you kidding me? This
yeah,
dude is just he's a video game. I mean, you just had never seen. I mean, obviously USC were doing what they were doing at the time. The two worlds collide in that national title game, but Vince Young was just crazy. The numbers he put in, he was a savage, man.
yeah, man. And it was Vince Young. It wasn't Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush. It was Vince Young. And of course they had some great defensive players. And don't get me wrong. Some of their receivers were great as well too. But it was Vince Young. He took over.
It was the Vince show, and you didn't really see anything like that maybe until RG3 won the Heisman
Correct.
his Heisman year, because it was just such a just ridiculous numbers. So Texas was kind of the team Ryan was kind of raised, kind of having that team in his face.
Not really, to be honest with you. I was Texas OU game. I would watch that. And then I would, of course, watch bowl games. But as far as, getting out and having college football on, we didn't really start watching college football until recruiting, to be totally honest. I mean, it was just, if we saw a big game, of course, I would watch. But
Love it.
yeah, it
I
was,
love that.
yeah.
I actually kind of expected that answer because I always got the vibe that you guys weren't such a football family where it was like the football on top of the Bible right next to the leather
Yeah.
sofa. Like you guys were like, hey, you guys are gonna do whatever you want to do, your path. Like we're not gonna force this life on you. Like you're a football guy, but you're not like a hammered in.
Nah, not at all. With Ron, until he wanted to quit. And I just told him, I said, man, yeah, I tell all my kids, I said, if you try something and you just give it a chance and you fail at it, or you don't feel like it's something for you, then by all means. And then when he came at me and said, well, I think I want to quit, I said, that's not going to work for you. You're too good. Like, I'm sorry, you're not quitting. Go suit up. We're on our way to practice.
Well,
So
seriously, I mean, I think that was the best fatherly advice you gave him because you saw this is what he actually loves, and he's having a moment where it's really difficult. It's really hard for him, and it's really hitting him in a lot of variety of ways. If we can just get him through this rough patch, this is his true love. But like, did you when he first started out, what did you honestly think was like his ceiling would be in the game?
to be honest with you, I did not see D1. I at all. Um, I used to, my thing, and I say to this day, I don't care what you do, just try to get a scholarship anywhere. And it's even like we have our community colleges here. I was like, man, if I used to tell them all the time, if Brookhaven had a football team, get a scholarship and go there. You know, go to school for free. And get an education. That's kind of number one. So we never, had that mindset of, well, I never had that mindset of, hey, man, you're gonna be something special. Uh, it's funny because when he got his first offer from USC, I was like, man, you're not even D1 material. You got burnt. Because the week before we were actually playing Capel, and the funny story about that is I didn't know he was going to start. The cornerback in front of him got hurt, and I was moving a refrigerator. I wasn't even going to the game. I was like, man, I'm not wasting another. I got to move. We're about to move some things around, and uh, yeah, I wasn't even going to come to the game. And I got a call from actually Roger Joyner. That's uh, Randall Joyner's brother. Randall Joyner's the defensive line coach at Ole Miss. So I got a call from his brother, and he was like, "Ryan's starting," and I was like, "Man, what?" He was like, "Yeah, he's starting." So I throw the refrigerator out the car, out the U-Haul, and put it back in the garage and go to the game. So yeah, but yeah, I never thought it would go to this magnitude at all. And like I said, before he got that first offer to USC, he actually was playing against Capel and Anthony Black, the point guard at um, Orlando. He ran a fade route and just toasted him, just head tapped him, and I was like, man, you trash. And then later that week, he got the call from USC, so he kind of shut my mouth, I guess, a little.
Well, hey, I think those some of those lofty expectations you've got, but at the same time, like I know how good you can be. I know how good you should be. Like, go do it. Like you at the same time you're talking trash, but he knows exactly where you're coming from,
Oh yeah, for sure, for
and
sure.
he knows there's actually a ton of love in it rather than you know cutting him down or anything. It's different than some other people would do it, but I totally remember my dad doing stuff like that to me. I think a lot of kids growing up, probably wish their dad would do that instead of be so serious about everything.
Yeah, for sure. You have a with my philosophy. It's my job to keep him humble. It's when we were little league, we were coaching. I'm not a great coach by any means. I have nothing to do with Ryan. Thanks to Geyer and also Coach Flight for everything that they taught him to, and even with Coach Cooks and what they're doing with LSU. Thank you to those guys because those are the people that got him there, not me. But I always used to tell him, even after the game when we watched films at Geyer, it was, you know, okay, you got an interception or okay, you did this, but I can't coach that. Like I'm not here to coach what you did good. I'm here to coach what you did bad so we can correct that. So it may sound negative, but it's not negative. It's how can we correct this and make this weakness your strong point?
Well, I
You
mean,
know?
if you just sat there and just told Ryan every great play he made over and over and over and over and over, how much better is he going to be? Being told how great he is when there are things he can work on, things he can get better at. And when you see that kind of take shape, maybe that joke you made 2 weeks ago, and now he's correcting it, jumping that route and getting a pick six. I mean, that's probably got to be the best feeling in the whole damn world.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And you know, was there any kind of hilarious youth football stories of Ryan's where he just, some crazy play where he's doing some like hilarious dance into the end zone? Anything just wild that he did as youth football?
The only thing that he did, you know, wild, I would say, funny. He actually played for the Tigers when he was younger. That was one of our teams that we did play on, um, and he ran a touchdown. It was a good run too. He ran a touchdown. It was probably like a sweep maybe, and so when he gets to the end zone, he tries to do a front flip into the end zone, but he just ended up diving in the end zone and caught a flag. But yeah, that's pretty much the only weird thing he's done. Um, One of the and that's of course younger, but one of the most impressive things that he did where he put himself on the map in a little league setting. We had a super fast kid ran a jet sweep, and Ryan actually played DN, and a lot of teams knew to run away from Ryan, and he Ryan. It was probably like a 60-yard run, and Ryan went around the whole defense, came from behind, caught the kid, made him fumble, and we recovered the ball on the one before the kid scored, and we actually won the game. That was like right before halftime, and then we came back and actually won the game from that momentum. So
Just comes from behind, just punches that ball out.
yeah, I don't know if he tried to punch it out, but
Just running there, just boom. I mean, he's running his lungs out. He's tasting the blood at that moment. He's just like, boom, like that is. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. He's pretty competitive, especially when it comes down to people with speed and thing. All you got to do is just tell him he's slow, and he's going to try to prove his point.
Well, now I know what to text him before games. Ryan, you are slow. You're terrible.
You're playing like shit.
Playing like absolute dog shit, Ryan. Like you gotta figure this out, man. He's got like 3 interceptions at half. I'm just like, you're absolutely fucking terrible, Ryan. Like get this together. And at his high school, Denton Geyer in Texas, he was part of an absolute star-studded team.
Yeah.
Jackson Arnold, who I believe, I'm not sure who transfers nowadays, just up to this second, but swear he's at Oklahoma still.
Yeah, he's at Oklahoma. So it's Jackson and Peyton both went to Oklahoma,
Yeah.
which that was it's like keep the band together, but at the same time, he has his own path. You know what I mean? And he fell in love with LSU. Won the food, but just the traditions and even with BK and Coach Cook, with how consistent they were. All right, good night. Love you too. All right. Sorry, that was a little one.
Do not apologize. That is awesome.
So yeah, Jackson's there, and we had a great team. Had Jackson as a quarterback, and you see Jackson won the Elite 11. OU is going to have a crazy quarterback next year. I'm pretty sure he's up. I think Gabriel is gone after this year, and then as you can see, Peyton's already in there making big plays, blocking. I think he already has 2 block punts this year, and I know he has like some pass breakups. I don't know if he has an interception yet, but crazy, man. And it's like that's another thing. I was a Texas guy. Now for this year, I got to at least root for OU this year. And Saturday we got the Texas OU game, and I'm going OU. Sadly, it's hard. It's hard. I still can't get them down. I got to get them. They're still up. I can't do the horns down yet. I can't do it.
Well, and at the same time, it's these are your guys. You gotta support your guys. You've seen these guys grow up, and now here they are at the big time, and they're producing.
Yeah,
let's
for
see,
sure.
Peyton Bowen. Let's see here. Peyton Bowen's stats right here. Maybe I'm wrong year. For some weird reason, Sports Reference. But that group came close to a title a couple of times, but couldn't quite cross that bridge. How much do you think that still gets to Ryan?
He was upset. He always felt like they left something on the table. His sophomore year, when they got to play in state, he was very disappointed in his performance. He even had a TikTok made on him, so that was motivation going into the next year. And then even their junior year, because they played in the state game, they played in state their sophomore year, and they lost. And then their junior year, they got knocked out the round before state, and this year we got knocked out the round before state as well too. So it was, but hey, DeSoto is a powerhouse. Jonte Cook, he's at Texas now. He was a killer. But they didn't really kill us through the air. It was mostly on the ground, and that their running backs, they're some monsters. Like, I'm looking forward to see them in college. So
it was tough to watch because it was such a good run, and you just felt like it's gonna have that ending, and it just
for sure.
Would Brian be at LSU? Oh, sorry, I interrupted you.
No, I was sniffing. You're good.
All right, interrupted a sniff. Would this is kind of a crazy hypothetical that I thought of, and I was like, this is kind of might be a dumb question to him, but I think we should still ask it because either he'll laugh and mock my question, or it might have a revealing answer. So let's just roll the dice. Would Ryan be at LSU? 4-star, top 100 national 2023 athlete in his class. Would he still be at LSU if he'd gone to any other high school, you think, in Texas?
That's kind of hard to answer. With his drive and with his motivation, could he have received an offer if he went to another school? Possibly. But I believe that, with Geyer, he learned a ton. As far as Peyton and Ryan in the defensive end, they were taught so many things that, is translating now in his play with LSU. Learning how to read a defense, learning how to see a formation, learning how to make check calls within the calls. Peyton had his side of the field that he controlled, and if Peyton called one play, Ryan could call man on his side, and whether Ryan was playing corner or safety, they would see what's going on and they would make those calls within the calls. So um, I feel like if he made it to LSU at another school, I'm not sure if he would be at the place he's at without having that knowledge from Geyer, and also again, Coach Flight is amazing. That was Ron's trainer, and without those, I mean, I can't say anything bad about them at all. You know what I mean? So
Well, I remember you explaining that defense at the time, and I'm just like, oh my god, like I can see it kind of taking place out there right before my eyes, watching the full games, not just like watching a few plays on social media, actually watching a full Denton Geyer game during those runs, watching full games. You could see how they were doing that. It was nuts. Peyton Bowen on one side, Ryan Yates, and then just the way they would move Ryan all over the field too. They'd use him at corner for multiple games at a time. It's just I remember saying that to you. It's going to prepare him so well for this next level.
yeah. And not even to count out. I mean, you even have Peyton's little brother Eli. I mean, he was man. I mean, that guy was his sophomore year. I think he had 10 or 11 interceptions, and I think like 6 of them were pick sixes. So, and that's his sophomore year.
Good night. And by the way, I saw 4 pass breakups from Peyton Bowen already on the
Okay.
season.
Yeah.
4 pass breakups already. I think that's more than anybody at LSU. For anyone for LSU. Maybe Zy Alexander has 4. I don't think so. But 4 from the freshman. That's nuts. The Bowen brothers, man.
Yeah.
That team was lit. When did you go, okay, my son could potentially be a pro one day. He can do this. He's in that, elite 1%.
Man, that's still up in the air. I can't put the cart before the horse, man. You got to work yourself in this in the college program. So, hey, we have a Ryan calls me his number 2 hater, and that's his number 1 hater over there. So
What's up? What's up? Hey, I use the word potentially. Use the word potentially because it is just potential, but at the same time, putting it to work already.
Yeah, I mean, if he stays consistent, if he learns his keys, if he attacks, like you and I were talking the other day, but if he just you know stays consistent and learns that defense inside and out, and really is a film junkie, I think he'll do fine. And hopefully he dominates at this level to where if his dream is to continue to go to the NFL, by all means I'm going to support him.
And I think he's at the right place, the right time to make that happen. I know, you know, this last weekend didn't go too well, but at the same time, a little bit of adversity his freshman year, but at the same time, really he's not taking any of the brunt of it. It's really more the veteran guys taking the brunt of it, and he can kind of see how these guys are kind of taking that adversity. But speaking of that, what kind of moments of adversity Ryan has been through in his 18 years that have kind of shaped him to become the young man he is today?
One thing that we try to do in our house, and I say try, well, I should say we do. We make sure that our kids are accountable. And as far as your adversity goes, it's if you make a mistake, man, love it. Like don't get down about your mistake. If you make that mistake, you learn what not to do. So now all it is it's simple. Just learn what to do. Try to do it right the first time. That's always been preached to all of our children, and some get it, some don't. I mean, but it's always a teaching moment. And Um, but as far as adversity goes, I think that, again, we would go back to, that sophomore state championship game, where, Ryan got torched. Well, it was 2 touchdowns, but he got torched. Um,
Sorry, Ryan. Sorry, Ryan.
yeah, if he's watching, sorry, bro. Uh, but yeah, but yeah, I mean that's and losing that game, it was, I got to get on the field and talk to him, and he's in full tears, and I just told him at that moment, you know how this feels. Do whatever you can not to make this feeling happen ever again. So
That's pushed him to get where he is to this day. Even though he hasn't, he didn't get revenge exactly in the state title column. He got about 5 billion offers. Because when he first started being recruited, you're saying USC was that first offer. Were they really that first school that was like gung ho? They are all over him.
yeah, we so when when we got the first offer and we spoke with oh my God, man, it's been so many coaches. It started with the N, and forgive me.
It's okay.
I know he's from Texas. I know he left USC. He's over at, I want to say, Florida now, maybe, possibly. Is it Napier?
I'm not sure if Billy Napier.
No, not Billy Napier. Oh man. Anyway, we talked about Texas, and he was from Texas and making chili, man. So, I mean, that's what I remember from the phone call. It was too early on, you know what I mean? But Ryan kind of, he was with USC, I guess when that coach left, he went over to SMU, I believe. And so the USC kind of connect kind of faded a little bit. So, it was kind of short lived over there.
When it started to become a reality, sir, and you're like, oh crap, okay, he's getting that high profile recruiting. As a dad, what was, as he's dealing, enjoying, maybe even ignoring or listening to every day, all these coaches, what was, like, as a dad, the most like worrying for you about the whole thing? It made you keep an eye
Um, Nothing really, to be honest with you. It's a process. Um, we were told already. We like, again, Coach Flight. We talked to him a lot as far as recruiting, and what to expect, and what keys to listen for, and we're told everybody's a car salesman. Just what's going to be the best fit for Ryan. What position are they going to put him in? What does the team look like as far as schematic goes, and what's going to fit him? That's kind of, and where does he see home? Where does he see his home from home? And those coaches that can groom him into being a man. Because like we said, and when he went to LSU, he was only 17 in January. So, you know.
out. I mean, that's, yeah, early enrollee is way young. I mean, was there a school you wished Ryan maybe had just given a chance to visit again, or would have entertained more at that time?
Um, as far as a school itself, no. Uh, we didn't have, he would ask us all the time, where do you want to go? My wife would always say LSU. I would tell him all the time, go where you want to go, bro. Like, I'm not helping you. As far as that decision goes, it's, you have to make this decision, because you're not going to blame me at the end of the day and say, man, I'm in the transfer portal because I listened to you. No, you made this decision, and he's a loyal kid too. So, he knew he had to go somewhere that he would actually fit, because he's not one that's going to give up. I was talking to him earlier, and he was actually right before the call, and he he was like, man, I the DBU thing. He's like, man, I don't feel comfortable saying that right now. How we're playing, he said, but I know that when we get our opportunity, it's my job to bring that back. So, um, that's kind of the mindset that he's operating on, and hopefully, um, they'll be able to do that this year. Before, let's not say next year. Missouri. Hopefully, they bring that back, Missouri, and it carries on out. I mean, you know, and I know I'm kind of getting off the question, but
Oh, no.
we're looking at look at what happened last year. We lost 2 games, or what was it, 2 games we lost, and then we start kicking ass.
Yep.
So you got the same. Fix it. You got your offense is ranked number 4. Your defense is ranked number 114th or something like that. Th- Put that in your head as motivation. Get off your ass, and that's not you. No, that's not you. You know,
Exactly. If they can just get it up to 80 or 90, even.
hey man. I would say to hell with those numbers. Bust your ass.
Yeah. Just
Simple.
put it
Yeah.
away and just
Yeah.
play by play.
Your record is 0-0 right now. Go play.
Because it's
You
all
know.
there to play for still.
Yeah.
What were your first reactions when LSU is kind of your son's texting or calling you and saying, or coming home and telling you LSU are blowing up my phone?
Um. It was so we got the Notre Dame offer first, and then we got the LSU offer um, before the switch. So we got the LSU offer. I think we got it. Um, Man, there was one SEC school that offered us. I forget who was the first one, but then LSU came into play, and when it came into play, we were excited. DBU, and it's at that time, we were like, man, look who, they just won the Natty, and man, it's so many great players there, and we were like, man, this is crazy, and with the when Kelly came, they did the reoffer, and it was just a testament, because we always said, my deal was go to a coach that really wants you, you know, and with him reoffering right away when they came. I mean, soon as the news was there, we got reoffered. So it was uh it was just consistent, and it was just amazing. I mean, it was kind of a no brainer at the end of the day. He did have, everybody. I don't know, everybody didn't follow the recruiting, but Michigan State played a big part, and with everything that's going on there. Whew, but you know, man, yeah, and no disrespect to anybody, but man,
No, I mean,
you know, that would he is the cornerback coach, and that's what they were recruiting him as. They were recruiting him as a cornerback at Michigan State, and you know, but though and no disrespect to the LSU fans, but the Michigan State fans, they were pretty cool. They were funny. The my Twitter picture actually came from one of the LSU fans, where they put Ryan's face on the turnaround with BK dancing.
yes, yes.
I just left it as my Twitter deal, and some of the other schools, with Ole Miss, of course, they were in his top. Especially with Coach Bo, that's family. Coach Rambo Joyner, that's family. So it was, it was just amazing, that he made the choice to go to LSU, and I don't take nothing from it. Hey, 6-hour drive, I got to do it.
How did you feel like treated as a parent during those visits with LSU? Did you had already become very well known with Brian Kelly, of course, and met him many times, and Coach Cooks, right?
Yeah, we met them pretty often when we went down on the visit. They were always kind. They were really cool. But it was business. with them. It wasn't, a lot of, wishy-washy, hey, all right, thanks, get you out of here. It was, spend the most time with you, not in a rush, laid back, so it was just nice.
That's how it's done, and that's. I love that we have Coach Cooks on this staff. I think people really overlook him. Do you? What were your impressions of Coach Cooks like before? Ryan gets to LSU, and now how has he like lived up to that billing?
To be honest with you, I didn't know a lot about him. As far as going back doing research, having a research, where he coached before, being a DB coach, being at OU, being up, knowing that he was a DC at one point, it was just a lot of positive factors, that came in, and knowing that he was from Texas as well too, and so he's going to know how to relate to him, and know how to talk to him, and things like that, and like I said, Cooks is Ryan loves Cooks. He always says Cooks is my guy, and one of the best things that Cooks told me, told Ryan, and that Ryan told me, he gained a lot of weight when he first got there. I think he got up to like 220, and Cooks told me he was going to go play linebacker. So I was like, yeah, yo, fat ass need to go play linebacker. He was like, but I'm still fast though. I'm like, yeah, you're gonna be a fast ass linebacker. Keep eating.
Wow, he gained. That's crazy because he looks in great shape right now. He does not.
Oh, yeah.
He looks lean and mean, fighting machine. He does not. That's so hilarious to hear that. I mean, but that's what you do when you're gorging the Louisiana food, and then you're working like crazy in that heat. It just builds that muscle. Like he no problem with him eating a ton of food there. That's
Yeah.
kind of an initiation in a way.
Yeah, he's a foodie. He's definitely a foodie guy. So we used to tell him all the time, as much money as he spent, like my aunt used to give him $50 after every game, and it'd be gone on food. Like we would tell him all the time, we're like, man, your whole scholarship check is gonna be gone to food, and uh, it is.
Well,
DoorDash all day long. Empire Wings, DoorDash. I'm like, dude,
there's
chill.
so many good options. There's just so many good options. It's ridiculous. When we were in Louisiana, this is the last time we were there. We ate and ate, and it was almost it
Yeah.
was almost like we should have been charged for a crime or something. It was crazy what we were doing to our bodies. But you know, Ryan Senior / Ryan the Elder, but far from elderly. What has been something that has really caught your eye in Ryan's college game now that he's out there playing for LSU?
How quickly he adapted to learn those plays. When we visited with the coaches, of course you go into the coach's office, and you see the whiteboard behind with just all types of names of different calls and coverages, and it's not here. It's the whiteboard, and it's like 9 rows of different calls, and you're like, God, dog. And I was like, I don't know if this guy is smart enough to get that. And I think I told him that too. Like I told him in front of Coach House, I was like, and Coach House was like, he was like, don't worry, we will definitely put you in the right spot that you'll know exactly what you're doing in these calls. So don't worry. So yeah, I mean that's just where it impressed me, was that he was able to pick up, and especially like we saw in the late in the Mississippi State game, he was able to line some guys up, and get the call to him, and then still be able to grab the guy in motion and go cover the guy. So that's a big thing that he was definitely focused on. And when he and I talked, especially in spring, he was like, man, Dad, he said, it's a lot. I just want to learn the plays. He said, I am running slower. I am playing slower because I need to know what I'm doing and what he's doing and what he's doing in order to do what I'm supposed to do. So yeah, that definitely impressed me, as far as, the mental part of it. And just not being burnt out. He's actually motivated. So
This is just manna from heaven to hear because I mean, like the defense, obviously LSU had one of their worst all-time defensive performances, but it's great to hear that like they are able to cram this amount of information. It does show that there can be some adaptability, some type of adjustments that can be had here across the board. If a freshman like Ryan can do it, everyone across the board can do it there. And
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, oh
You
sorry,
definitely got some. Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, you definitely got some great freshmen out there. Also, me personally, it's more difficult to talk about my kid than it is to talk about someone else's. Whit Weeks is crazy, man. Oh my God, I love that kid. Just his explosiveness on the field, and so that's going to be a huge plus. You still got Perk, who's in his sophomore year. That's crazy in itself. You have Womack. That was a crazy stat. You got 5 plays, but it was 3 hurries and a sack. And it's, man, that's amazing. You still have Toviano out there. You still have, and then even if you look at the freshman corners, you know what I mean, and you look at those guys, I mean, they held their own, for the most part of the game in the beginning. And it's just, step up, stamps. That's crazy. Nobody saw that coming. You know, if people said they saw that coming other than his parents, they're lying. And any of his friends and all that, the people that know him. But other than that, come on, man, nobody saw that coming. Not that quick, I should say.
we even we really dig deep into these players. We wrote a lot about how fast he was, but then I was like, he's really good at covering the deep ball, but gets shredded over the intermediary. He is a raw prospect. You'll have to take some time. No, he was obviously not. Like, so even I was really high on him. Loved what
Yeah,
I saw out of Rummel, but like, even I had no clue that he was going to be ready for that moment.
yeah, man. Yeah. So and I know I'm missing some guys' names, but I feel like, especially especially as your kid as a freshman, you look at the now, but you also look at the future as well too. So I feel like, Jaden is amazing, and he's definitely, you can see a huge growth from last year to this year. Where just ball placement is crazy right now. I mean, oh my God, dropping it in dots, you know it's just crazy. And so hopefully this defense comes around and we catch up to it, man. Catch up to that offense.
We got to because I mean this is that was the worst LSU defensive performance against a ranked or SEC opponent, and 708 yards, 55 points, but but a big but here because your son made a great play. Oh gosh, why is it not gonna let me? Ah, the Fubo's not letting me. Is it literally not going to let me out of some like copyright concern?
Oh man, that
Let,
stinks.
let's refresh this thing. We have to put the play on here because this was sick. We both went crazy when this happened. Well, I went crazy when it happened. I don't know what you're probably absolutely going nuts, but oh,
Yeah, I
Ryan comes
actually
off the edge.
I actually missed the play.
How you missed it?
I was talking to the guy next to me, I think, or something like that.
That is awesome. But still, at the same time, he's gonna have a lot more to go from there. Fourth down, he bats this pass in the air. One of LSU's only stops of this entire game. Just, especially in that second half, so desperately needed. And he comes off the edge and bats that thing down. And everyone's going crazy. The TV cameras show Lane Kiffin falling to his knees, like going like this. It felt like LSU were going to win this game now because of your son. Like, how did that moment feel like basking in it afterwards with Ryan talking about it afterwards, but as well as just that moment is, your phone probably blew up.
Yes, it did. And everybody's calling. It's like, man, I can't hear you over the game. Stop calling. And so I got a lot of text messages, and but I mean, once I realized what happened, because everybody was like, Ryan just blocked the pass. So I just saw him pick up the ball. Like I didn't catch it until he actually scooped up the ball and took off running to try to go score. So that's what I saw. Then I saw it on the replay. And then so it was crazy. It was so loud. The LSU fans, man, I strongly believe we were the cause of them, throwing the cups and stuff on the field because of course they're talking noise to us. And at that moment, we talked hella shit to them. So I mean, it was and it sucked because it was amazing, but they actually played a lot of the songs that LSU band plays, and one of those songs was the Mike the Tiger chant that they lovely do, and we were loud and proud with it.
Yes. They played neck.
Yeah.
Here's the play. We're gonna show it from our Twitter because Fubo. I don't know what Fubo's deal is here, but we're going to show this to the world because I mean I'm sure, of course, every Tiger fan maybe has seen this play, but Lane Kiffin falls to his knees.
Go,
you got
baby.
To see Ryan celebrating.
21.
Jackson Dart in dismay.
Huge
it felt
play.
like there's Ryan boom off the edge.
Off the edge.
It's going to look a little choppy on the live. The replay will be a lot quicker.
Let's go, baby.
Going down like that. It felt
21.
Like everything was going
Put him in the game. RY, that's why. Go, baby.
That moment right there. I mean,
21.
That's how a freshman breaks
Huge
out right there.
Play.
Just
off the edge.
Down. Huge key play in the game. It was extremely impressive. I could not have been more excited for him in that moment.
21.
His
Put him
season,
in the game.
Underway, 5 games in, 4 games, 4 appearances. Well, at least I think it's defensively, but I'm sure he's appeared in all 5 games in some capacity, special teams. Yeah. 51 snaps played, 18 versus Grambling, 19 versus Mississippi State, 7 each versus Arkansas and Ole Miss. He did that with just 7 snaps. What grade would you give Ryan so far?
C. Solid C.
I completely approve. Because I mean, we haven't seen enough to see like he's getting burned for touchdowns. He's got 0 touchdowns allowed, only just a few catches, little intermediary things, not allowing much after the catch, a few tackles, but some big plays.
Yeah, I mean, as far as field play, C. I mean, you're passing, you're on the field, and then too, and that's not to be harsh on him, but that's just, just the reality. You know what I mean? And now, if you were out there and it was consistent with the 4th down play, if that was consistent, even with the, I told you I was going to bring it up, even with the play later on the touchdown, where he was out there on the bubble screen, and the information that I received, not from, and it was from another SEC coach. He did do his job as far as taking away the inside on that bubble screen because the guy did try to cover the field and he planted his foot and took off. And my deal is track the inside hip and attack. So that's one of the plays that I would definitely say he could have worked on, and then trust your corner. Your corner's out there. He has to get off of that block, and it's a combo tackle right there, and that play is over with, and it's dead. There's not a score. I don't know who the corner was out at that time, so there's no disrespect to either player at all, but it just was a play that didn't happen, and they scored, and that's the score that won that game. Against Arkansas, he was out there, and he had a great game against Arkansas. And as soon as he came out the locker room, he already knew. I missed the tackle. You better say it before I do. And that. So like I said, C. I mean, he's, you know, and he did have some good plays because if you go back and look at the Arkansas game, you'll see it was a third down play. It was a third and long, and the slot receiver actually did he went up and he did a wheel route basically. So he went up, came across the field, and then took it up the field. And the cornerback, the QB KJ was actually looking at that play to throw and had to check down on that play. So because Ryan actually covered that pretty well. So that's why he has a C. He's passing because of that. Luckily he got the fourth down stop and he got that wheel route, or there would be a F.
Well, it'd still be a little harsh, but I mean, at the same time, it's been awesome to see him get game time as a true freshman and build this thing. Brian Kelly had some glowing things to say about him. Said he played really well. He was clean. He used all these certain terms that were just like, that is Brian Kelly 100% improving of how this kid is progressing. Just what you want to hear if you're on Team Ryan, which I'm pretty sure every LSU fan is at this point now after what you've seen from him. Sir, last question. What do you expect from LSU's defense, including your son, this weekend versus 5-0 Mizzou at Mizzou?
Kick ass. Stop the run game. Stop the pass. Kick ass. You are not out of it at all by one bit. This is game one for y'all. What are you going to do from here? It's in your hands. It's you control your destiny. There's nobody out there that's going to control your destiny but you. If you want it, go get it. The only person stops you is you. And everybody always says, well, it's a team game. It's a team game. It is a team game. But if you do your job, if all 11 do your job, and you trust that everybody else does their job, the job will get done. It's that simple.
The self-belief will be infectious, like COVID on a cruise. Everyone will get that intense self-belief. They see one guy making a play. They see another guy doing whatever it takes. Hey, I can't be outdone by him. And it might be, individual competitiveness or just, that's my brother, I'm following him into battle. Like, that's the mixture that creates the greatest teams and creates competitive teams. But
energy only takes a spark, man. It only takes a little flicker. Once you get that flicker, it can light up a forest fire. So
one play, one game, one player just doing something crazy.
Yes, sir.
One last little message here. We got some terrible news today about condition of safety Greg Brooks Jr. He had the brain tumor removal surgery, and we were all kind of hoping and wondering what the news would be with the scans. And he's been diagnosed with medulloblastoma, a rare cancer of the medulla oblongata there in the brain. And in the short time you've been around the program, with a son playing the same position as Greg, what have been your impressions of the senior and maybe his impressions on Ryan?
First and foremost, that yellow suit that he was rocking, man, that was killer, man. That was amazing. I loved it. But as far as Greg, it's been plenty of times where Ryan and I've been on the phone and Greg will start a group chat and Ryan's like, "Hey, I gotta go." He was a leader, or he is a leader. Let's just be real. He is a leader. He's still in spirit leading those guys out there. I mean, that's who they showed in the Arkansas game. That's who they were playing for, and they had a decent game that game. Playing with him in their hearts. And to that family, I send all my love to them, all positive energy to them, and to Greg as well too. But yeah, he's definitely a leader in the locker room. Ryan definitely looks up to him, and it's especially in him and Major. I don't want to leave him out as well. But yeah, Greg was he was the captain of the team. They voted for him, and that was was a big thing to be voted by your peers, and that says a lot for who you are as a as a player, and also as just a friend, and a teammate and a brother. Um, if I don't know if anybody watches the Path, I'm hooked on it every Wednesday. But I loved, the time when Greg stepped up and he was like, "Hey, man, this wasn't me, and I got to do better." And talking with Ryan about that moment, he was just like, "Man, it was, that was a big moment, for us, and for him to come together and bring us together like that." So, it was, so I just hope the best for him, and the road to recovery. Of course, at this point, everybody, uh, without even meeting him, we love him, and that's just, how we are here at this house. We love you to death, man. Hopefully everything, works out, and healing just starts.
Absolutely. Everybody pray for 3, but also we're going to be posting that link in the description. There is a link to donate to his family for the medical costs, which, as we know, they get ridiculous. They can bury families financially, and that's not happening here. That is not going to happen here, and we're going to make sure his family's taken care of. LSU have been making sure that his family are taken care of, really stepping up here as they should, and as they are definitely leading the way on that. And it's just been a beautiful thing to see everybody, the NFL, SU kind of alums, kind of stepping up as well. Who, they're bringing in the bag guys like Ryan Clark working for ESPN, Marcus Spears, and those guys are definitely donating, especially a guy like RC who coached Greg as a youngster in 7-on-7. But this has just been an incredible conversation with you, sir. I cannot thank you enough. I've been looking so forward to doing this in person, over, online, somehow face to face. Here we are. It's been fantastic. I cannot thank you enough for your time. It's been a crazy long time talking with you, and here we are. And I seriously just thank you so much, sir.
Oh no, man. Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for, like you said, during the recruiting process with Ryan, and just making him feel comfortable. And just, some of the messages in Twitter, going back and forth, he would show me, he was like, "Man, this dude is cool." you know. So I definitely want to appreciate you, and the interviews that you did with him, and even this interview was great talking to you, and man, I look forward to many more. So.
Oh, dude, I've told David Weeks, someone who's awesome to talk to as well. I hope you guys know each other. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, Ryan. He's was actually Ryan's roommate. So
Yes.
yeah, so it's and just seeing him at the game, and talking to him, man, that he's he's a coach, right?
Yeah, at Oconee.
You can tell. Yeah, I mean, you could tell off rip in the stands. He brings the energy, and you can just tell he's a coach, man. It's awesome, to know some great people. And shout out to Mama Wingo, and even Savion Jones's parents, and even uh, KP's parents, and Jalen's parents. I mean, and Toviano's parents. I mean, those are main people that we've met, and they're just amazing, man. It's just. Oh, and also Jeffers, the D line Jefferson, Big 99. Oh, that dude right there is killer too, man. I know I'm not supposed to get back into some talk, but that dude is crazy.
He needs to play way more than just 15 snaps.
To be that big and move that fast. Oh my God.
Yeah, second in the team in TFLs.
Crazy, man.
Why isn't he playing more? Got to play more. I just Seneca Jones, awesome woman. Tanika Wingo, absolutely love that lady. Met them both in Atlanta. Got that chance. They are awesome. But sir, this night, and hopefully future nights, we can get together even more, because you are the man. You are just a barrel of laughs and always a good time. Seriously, we're going to be following Ryan every step of the way, as we always do. And we know you will in LSU Nation as well. Keep repping that 21. And Sir, have a wonderful night.
All right, you as well. Hey, and if you get that thing that says Ryan's ass, don't make sure you see me like it. I'll probably comment he is.
Yes. Okay. Yes, indeed, sir. This has been awesome. This is one of the best interviews we've ever done. Sir, have a good one.
All right, have a good one.